All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello. Welcome back once again to Blame Your Brother, the quarantine sessions of life. Yes, we are back once again. Blame Your Brother, streaming on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come hang out with us as we record the show. We do it every week, and I am one third of that power pop trio. I am David, aka D Brew, voice of the people, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, the spiritual midget. And I am joined every week by this dude who sits to the left of me in cyberspace. It's my brother. It's Lee.
What up, everyone? It is the one and only, of course, LeBron Safety Pin.
And then we're also joined by our longtime friend, one in a million. It's John.
Hey, everybody. John here, a.k.a. Tico, the Lonely Lobster, the Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
Look at that. All right, so we're back in business, baby. All right, so we've got a lot to get to tonight. John actually saw The Lion King. Donald Trump is going to...
Tiger King.
Oh, Tiger King. Yeah. Lion King would be something else, too. Donald Trump's going to make America... I don't know what he's going to make it. There's protests in the streets. I'm sure we'll have many other things to talk about. But before we get that going, and we do have a giveaway, a T-shirt giveaway contest tonight. So... a lot happening, a lot of moving parts, but we always start off with apologies, retractions, and omissions, a chance to make things right in the world. So, Lee, is there anything you need to apologize for last week's episode for?
I think at one point, I might be mistaken. It's all blended together these days, but I might have at one point said that you had a good point or you had changed my mind and convinced me of something. Obviously, that was incorrect. So if that did happen, I apologize. But I will say there are already some apologies for this week. We have people asking you what you are recording with, John. Right now, the going bet is a tin can.
That's what it is. It's a tin can.
There you go.
Tin can.
There you go.
All right, so Lee's good. John, is there anything you need to apologize for last?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Lee. Everything's kind of running together. I can't even remember
What day it is?
Yeah. I do have an apology. We've been trying to discuss Tiger King here lately, and I keep getting behind the ball, including last week, and I am actually caught up now, so I've seen the whole thing, and so I've made an amends.
Did you see the bonus episode?
I saw the one with Joe McHale.
Okay. I haven't seen that, so you're actually even past me now. There you go.
We can talk about that too, just the production part of it in a little bit, because I watched it and I got thoughts. But anyway, do I need to apologize for anything? I honestly don't even know what last week's show was about, truthfully. So I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah,
what was it about?
You for the most part just winged it. I don't think you had a lot to say.
Oh, John Prine. Prine. Yeah, okay.
We talked about wrestling a little bit, WrestleMania.
Well, we can definitely talk about WWE this week as well. Once again, there's lots to get into. So, the world is constantly evolving. But if we're all done with apologies, we'll go ahead and get...
Well, before we do that, can I just say one thing at the top, just to get out of the way? I listened to the latest Blame Your Brother quarantine session with you and Mandy. Great episode, man. That was really good. I think if anyone is looking for something to listen to, definitely check that out. Not only check that one out, but the Wendigo Hunters. Wow, that stuff, what is that even? That's crazy.
It is out there. It's weird stuff. And yeah, no, it was a good time with Mandy. I mean, I've known her for many years now, as we talked at the beginning of that episode, just podcasting associate friend and, just someone that I've known a long time. It's funny to think about these people you meet and you kind of know them for a long time, and sometimes you just kind of forget about it. But yeah, it was cool. Go check it out.
She's got a great voice sessions. Too.
I'm just going to announce it here. If you want to be in the quarantine sessions, I'm going to have to start reaching out to people. I've kind of went through my first wave of people. So if you're interested, let me know. We can work something out. And if you don't, who cares? It's fine. Okay, so we've offered up these new t-shirts, which are selling like gangbusters. They're selling so much through the company we use that they have offered us a free t-shirt. It's called a free sample shirt that we could get for free. So we decided to go ahead and have a giveaway contest for our lovely listeners and friends. And so the contest was either like, retweet, whatever, blah, 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 the latest episode we did. And we had how many people, Lee? Did I tell you?
30.
Okay, 30 people were in the contest. And so what we're going to do, we're just going to use a random number generator here. And then Lee's going to hit it. I guess it's going to be on the screen. And then we will announce, based on the names I have in front of me right here, which number goes to what and who the winner is. So if you had a drum roll, I'd say hit it right now. But we don't. So, Lee, go ahead.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Glynda Sawyer's. How about that? She actually had 2 entries.
Hey, I think she's in the chat.
Well, Glynda, that's crazy. So she did it on Twitter and Instagram. She was number 3 on Twitter and 8 on Instagram, which is kind of ironic because at the beginning of the show, we were testing out the random number generator and it came to 8 and she would have won that way too. So I guess the cards were her to have a shirt. So Glynda, shoot me a DM with the color and the size you want, and we will go ahead and get that ordered and sent out to you. And like I say, those things have been moving. We've sold quite a bit of them. We even started selling leggings.
Can we talk about this for a second?
Go ahead.
First off, I ordered I wasn't kidding last week when I said somehow these people have made us attractive. I think it was by using really heavy blur, but it happened. And I ordered a hoodie immediately after the show. Still hasn't come in. I'm a little concerned, but I was talking to my wife and she was like, I was like, yeah, we got leggings. She's like, yeah, I saw that. She really heavily questioned why there needed to be Blame Your Brother leggings in existence. And to be honest with you, I don't have a good answer, but evidently people were buying it. So maybe you can explain to me, the listeners, why leggings.
Well, I mean, you look at the quarantine times we're in here. Now, we know most dudes are wearing sweatpants, jogging, whatever you want to call them, right? I mean, I'm guilty of it. Athletic wear. I wear it every day now. I don't have to get dressed up to go to work. Now, I've noticed that women are wearing yoga pants and leggings like a lot now that they don't have to get dressed up. And I just was making the t-shirt, came up as one of the options. I went, well, I'll put it up there. There's no way we'll sell any of these. Well, as soon as I posted, people were like, heck yeah, I'll take those right now. So the ladies love leggings. I mean, and we're all about giving it back to the people. So I look at it. John, what are your thoughts on it? I mean,
hey, if I'm not going to tell anybody what they can't wear as long as it's like not offensive to anybody. Now, having my face on it, it might be offensive to some people, but hey.
It's true. Yeah.
So when are we?
If you're crazy enough to wear it, who are we to say no? You know, I mean,
they look good. I looked at it. The redone pair, the placement was really good. So, but I want to know, when are the tighty whitey underwear prints coming in?
If they had underwear, we'd be selling them. But I think Teespring does not offer that at this point. Now, they do offer fanny packs, which we could make available down the road. We're selling we're not selling hundreds. Okay. I don't want people to think we're selling like a good amount, like 20 plus in the first week, which is pretty good, you know? And so when you do that on Teespring, it opens up like new things you can sell. So we've opened up like the second level of things we can sell, which is pretty cool. I've never really had that much success with Teespring in the past.
Are we going to advance to condoms?
I mean, we could.
Oh, the Tiger King reference. One thing that I would like to see, the fanny packs are awesome, but hankies, handkerchiefs, bandanas, whatever, I'm a real big fan of that. So if you could do like a Blame Your Brother bandana, if you need me to whip up some artwork for that, just let me know. That's what I would like to see.
From the chat, Jason Steen says he wears leggings to his Zoom meetings. So it's not just a girl thing. It could be a guy-girl thing. We're in 2020. There are no rules anymore. I guess what is offensive about leggings? I mean, women wear them. You know, I don't
think anyone was offended. It was just a question of why would our logo, artwork, faces be on them, I guess,
Hey,
like we didn't,
blame blame, baby. So
we
we'll
didn't,
see. I mean, I've even heard from Ebony that was on the show, the Titans cheerleader, said she was going to buy a pair of them. So
I thought they were
people
cool.
love them,
Yeah.
and the more attractive people wear them, the better it is for our brand, because we're not going to do it. Let's just be honest. 3 of us wearing any of our clothing, it's just not going to sell anything. Okay. So if
Hey,
you
haters are
listening,
always going to hate.
if you're an Instagram influencer and you want to partner up with us, let us know. So yeah, so there we go. Well, Glynda, contact us, and congratulations on winning that shirt. I know she's already got another shirt, and she's a big fan. So I'm just glad I went to somebody that actually likes to sew. So, and we love all you guys, and we'll have more giveaways coming down the road. So that is that. Now, the artwork was inspired by the daughter of Trapper Haskins. And look what I got in the mail today. It is a vinyl record. It's called Blood in the Honey by Trapper Haskins. It is a amazing album. So if you're looking for vinyl or you're looking for an album on Spotify, it drops as this drops tomorrow. It'll be available. Go check it out. Blood in the Honey by Trapper Haskins. It is a Lee, you would dig it a lot, so you should go check it out.
Definitely check that out.
So thanks to his daughter for designing that. It's just been well received. Everyone's loved it. So there we go.
Can we circle back around to the Tiger King real quick?
Sure, that's where we're going. Go.
Okay. So have you seen anything Tiger King ridiculous in the past week? Because I've got to tell you what I found. It was some post and was like, when quarantine's gone too long, and they set up a, I don't know, an NBA 2K video game. I guess you can create your own skins. And so they designed the entire team of the Tiger King staff and the entire Carole Baskin staff. And they were one side was wearing leopard print and the other one was wearing like cheetah print or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's just a video of Joe Exotic dunking on Carole Baskin. And it's like really well done too.
Yeah, no, I saw that. It was pretty funny. The hot take and I've been thinking about this. I mean, there's not much to think about. Let's just be honest. I mean, most of us were stuck in our house. We don't have much new things to really think about. I almost have come around to going, I think she was kind of painted unfairly, honestly, if you want the truth. I mean, yeah, you can make it seem like she killed her husband. And if I had to bet on did she kill her husband, I would probably bet more so that she did than she didn't, or she had something to do with his death. But you take that away. I mean, why is she such a villain on the show? I mean, Joe Exotic is a piece of trash. He is like a terrible racist. He was terrible to the staff. He was terrible to his son, his son was on the show.
Wait, which one was his son?
Huh?
Which one was Joe Exotic had a son?
Yeah, I read an article about it, or I listened to an interview, and his son and his ex-wife were on the show, but they were never identified.
What?
Yeah, and they said he treated his son so bad, like every day, just berated him. So you need to go back, I guess. I don't know who he is. He never identifies him. But he is trash. I mean, he's dropping the N-word constantly.
Yikes.
He started that fire, dude. I mean, come on. We know he started that.
Oh, yeah, he started that fire, definitely.
So I just say, John, you've seen it with fresh eyes. Do you think Carole Baskin is that villainous the way she's presented?
At first, I did. Everything that she says, even aside from her quote unquote killing her husband, if she did or she didn't, that aside, a lot of her complaints that she had against Joe and against Dr. Anton, she was doing the same exact stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well,
she wasn't euthanizing the cats. She was trying to preserve their lives. She also wasn't raising.
Well, out of the gate, that wasn't one of her complaints.
She also wasn't breeding them in order to charge people to pet them either.
I think those are the two.
She also wasn't entrapping people into a life of basic slavery and not paying them, which is your Doc Antel. If you followed his story, that was a little creepy. And so, Joe Exotic, they touched on like him serving that Walmart meat in the pizzeria and the dirty, double wines or single wines.
God, I think anybody that does that has that kind of lifestyle has issues. I mean, so there's going to be something wrong with them. There are very few people that were on the flip side of that. When I watched that extra uh, uh, episode
Bonus. Yeah.
where it was Joel McHale from famous from Community was interviewing these people, and the way scenes were cut and everything, people were put in a certain light. And my biggest issue with Carole Baskins is the fact that this guy that she was married to for several years up and disappears, and there is not a single second of remorse at all.
Yeah.
Well,
even
they heavily edited.
choke up.
They had an
Yeah,
agenda. Netflix producers, whoever did it, definitely had an agenda.
Oh,
And I mean,
yeah.
they're
That's why everybody's almost everybody's a jerk. There's some people that didn't really come off as super jerky, but for the most part, most people that were in the main light of the show were painted as villainous.
The biggest problem with the TV show is that it's reality television show cast as a documentary. So they go in with this appearance of we're trying to tell a story about these tigers. I don't know. This person. I don't know. But in reality, it's just shot like reality TV. It's just packaged different so that it's more palatable to more people. It's like a bait and switch type thing. They did a very good job on it.
Oh, of course. I heard a podcast today that said they probably had that. They had that probably filmed like years ago, dude. I mean, I think him getting arrested really put that documentary together. If that's not a common theme that you can kind of thread, that thing's a mess. Like, what is even the point of the story? Minus Joe being like, eventually, essentially the tragic hero of the story.
The timeline was definitely hard to follow at different points because like, wait a minute, is he in jail yet or not?
Right. Yeah. So you liked it, John, or what? I mean, what is your overall?
It was definitely amusing.
Yeah, it's a train wreck. Now, the new bonus one came out last week. It's Joel McHale just interviewing people. I thought the production value of that show was phenomenal. I went, wait a minute. You're telling me every one of these calls was done via FaceTime? There is no way. They had to have those people filming that stuff, man. You tell me.
Joking.
Yeah, you know how crystal clear, dude. They all had the earbud in their Apple earbud in while they were talking.
Yeah,
FaceTime's pretty good.
They sent them iPhones, man.
FaceTime's pretty good.
Then why aren't we using FaceTime, dude?
I mean, it's a good question. Why aren't we?
It looked phenomenal. I know they obviously worked on the audio, but the video looked great. The people came across as like if I just watched that, I'd be like, why is everybody making fun of these people? They all seem normal to me.
Yeah, I mean it's much easier to record something on an iPhone and then later put it into a format or something, right? I don't even know how we would stream from an iPhone off the bat. I mean, it can obviously be done. I've done things like that before.
I guess you would use FaceTime through your Mac and do it like that. I don't know. Anyway,
does Mac have FaceTime? Anyway.
It looked good.
You're very impressed with the FaceTime.
But people seem to not like it. And I'm like, dude, what do you think they're going to do? They can't go out and film another episode, people. And this is the best case scenario. They're talking to the players in the movie or in the series, and then you get kind of the reaction. What's the big deal here? Why does everybody want so much from everything all the time? Like, if it's not the greatest thing they've ever seen, it's trash. I'm like, all right.
It's the byproduct of a in-game capitalist society, basically.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that phrase. Do you know what are some essential services in these times, in these pandemic times, Lee? What are some essential services? I mean,
how do you tell me? Hospitals is a good one.
Yeah, retail, like grocery stores.
Right.
I mean, liquor store, I would not consider that essential, but I guess there's a lot of alcoholics in the world that need their booze. I'll give you that one. Did you know the World Wrestling Entertainment is an essential business in 2020?
I did.
Have you read this story? Are you familiar with like the just the entire thread of it?
Well, your boy Marlon Half Pint has quite the theory on it. It's like the only sports entertainment to not be shut down in the history of America or something, even during World War II or something.
Yeah.
And you know, my wife was enraged the other day because there was some like governor or mayor somewhere that was getting on a public podium and complaining that there was no sports events and that we had to restart the economy so that we could get live sporting events back because he was having to watch reruns from the 1980s.
I think it's the guy in Florida.
Yeah, probably.
Who is the one that declared the WWE as an essential business now? And guess
He's
what?
bored, man. Okay.
Guess who is a contributor to the super PAC of Mr. Donald Trump? The McMahons. Why are we not more outraged about this? I tweeted this out and people are just like, yeah, well, what's the big deal? Well, I mean, the big deal is, once again, that money moves. You know, money moves your business. It makes it an essential business where you can keep it open. It's just ridiculous to me.
I think it was more of a local call, actually, for the mayor of Pensacola was the one to make that call.
The mayor or the governor?
The mayor.
Huh.
But I mean, that would be even easier to take care of. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think there was some money. I think Trump
a quick phone call, a handshake with maybe something in that hand, a little grease.
I mean, what do you think about that, though? Is that
money talks, man? It's just it's the nature of the beast.
Was it justified?
Right.
Okay.
I mean,
they're
right,
not. I mean, it happens.
Here's the thing: if you can run your business without exposing other people, without the danger of spreading the virus, then why shouldn't you be allowed to do business? Now, if they opened up an arena and started selling tickets, obviously that would be way too far. But if they want to keep on doing this breaking, you guys tried to explain to me the Funhouse, Kicks Funhouse, or what?
Well, no.
I don't even know what it is. If they want to just keep doing that, what's the problem?
They're wrestling in tag teams. There's like 6 people out there wrestling. So why can't I just bring 3 people over to my house every night?
Well, you have 5 people at your house. You could have a tag team. You could have a ref. You could have two sides.
No.
Yes, those people live in his house and are constantly there, and they don't leave.
Well, let's say that the wrestlers all live together in a dorm anyway. Let's say that they're all just together.
Why aren't we over at your house recording then, if that's the case?
I'm definitely not essential. Okay? Like, there's no question about that.
You're essential?
I'm not. I'm the opposite. So
no, this podcast, if WWE is essential, this podcast is essential. We provide entertainment for a large number of people, and people love it. So I think we should consider essential.
Okay, well, I will set up a microphone and a camera outside, 6 feet apart. I'll get 2 of them.
Really?
But yeah, you're not coming to my house, but sure.
The thing is those wrestlers are meeting inside that building, and they're actually touching and stuff. I mean, it's a contact sport, whether quote unquote sport, but there's plenty of contact.
Well, I mean,
if one of those people were sick, then everybody's sick.
And I think they all know that. And here's even a crazier thing is the UPS delivery people, the United States Postal Service. I see these guys, out the window like everyone else, nothing to do but look out the window. They're coming down the road. They don't have a mask on. They don't have no gloves. They're not doing anything to try and prevent the spread, right? They're touching every mailbox. They're touching every practice. Like, we laugh about the WWE. Like, hey, if a few people want to bring some entertainment on such a small scale, is that really hurting people? But then you got these people protesting.
Yeah. Like
gathering together in public. Like, are they holding hands? I don't know. I haven't even seen it. Walking down the street. Hands,
but what are your thoughts? So the First Amendment of the Constitution gives us the right to peacefully assemble, right? I mean, it's the basis of the country, you could argue. So where do you stand on protesters who disagree with the way the business is being run?
I'm pretty sure there's a caveat about public safety in there somewhere, right? I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but obviously, like, if you're gathering to incite violence on people, they would put an end to that, right? It's not peaceful at that point. If you're spreading a pandemic, if you're spreading an epidemic, that's not really peaceful.
First Amendment reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. That's the actual First Amendment. For to publicly assemble to petition the government for a change, essentially. So where do we stand on this? Are these people allowed to protest?
I mean, they're obviously allowed to, right?
No, they
Should
get arrested.
they be?
They're arrested.
Oh, they're arresting them?
Just because you protest does not mean you won't be arrested either. I mean, we know that. But John, where do you stand on these protesters who say we got to open the economy back up?
I mean, I think they're idiots for meeting in public like that. I mean, with today's technology, I mean, it seems that you get a lot. If you get a group of people together online, you make a lot more noise than you do nowadays in person. It just feels that way now.
That's fair, but you understand, we're like, there's half the country that feels the way we do. And then there's another half of the country that feels the exact opposite, like these protesters do. I mean, that's the world we live in today, where these people are like, hey, and I think it's a fair question to ask. When are people that are out of jobs going to be able to work again? I mean, I think it's a fair question. I mean, I think we're all lucky enough, the three of us that do this show, we all have our jobs. Our wives have their jobs still. They're still getting paid. What if all three of us were self-employed people that were out of jobs, or we worked at restaurants, and our wives did? Do you think, I mean, we would be looking at this differently, right?
Oh, of course we would.
Also, the problem that I have is you make a very excellent point, right? Like, obviously, we have to open the economy back as soon as possible. The problem is these people that are protesting are not protesting for that reason. The people that go out and are doing this, it's because they want to own the libs. It's because they have some kind of self-justified idea in their head and they want to expose others to it, I guess. I'm not sure. But if they were out there like protesting for the right reasons, that would be one thing. But when you're flagrantly throwing it in the face of people during a public health crisis, it kind of doesn't give you your argument much leg to stand on, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I always look at it like this anytime I see these protesters. Number one, I don't think there's a lot of scientists and doctors protesting with them. And number two, I think if you look around, I'll always ask myself, do I want to be part of this group that's protesting right now? If the answer is no, maybe you need to look at your position on things here. And I've seen some of these people, and no, I would not want to be considered part of their group, their posse, their duo, whatever it is. And it just seems like it's the dumbest people that show up to protest. I don't know what
you would have to be dumb to show up to this protest for sure, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I think there's a better way to do it, and I don't know that standing outside a meeting or a hearing or a daily brief about the coronavirus with a sign saying I want a haircut. That's probably not a very good way to come across with your point. I mean, I don't. As list of things important right now, I'd say haircut's probably at the bottom of the list. I don't know what. So Trump today laid out a 3-phase plan to, what's the catchphrase? I can't know what the catchphrase is.
Social
Something America
distancing.
again.
Oh.
It's get the economy going. I don't know, whatever it is. Some stupid America.
He put it on a hat and selling it.
Yeah, well, he will. He will. So number one, I don't know if you're familiar with this. I just watched it this afternoon, but basically the first phase is, number one, your area, and we're not defining area here. So, and hold on, follow the thread here. Your area has to have declines in positive cases for 2 weeks in a row before you can get to phase one. Okay. Now, what's interesting is this weekend, Governor Bill Lee is allowing testing for anyone that wants to come get tested in rural areas of Tennessee only. I wonder if those numbers will be used to help show the decline in the coronavirus. I'm just wondering if maybe those numbers might help him sway the way he wants to.
Okay, what's number two? Well, that's phase one. What's phase two?
Phase one is he's going to allow, a lot of it will still be telecommunication works, but more of the places that were closed will be allowed to open. Then phase two is basically more businesses open up. We're allowing groups of 50 or less to get together or something like that, maintaining social distancing. And then the third phase is business back to normal. And along the way, they're going to make sure that anyone that's susceptible or someone that's more likely to be, lose their life if they get the coronavirus are still supposed to stay quarantined. So,
Man, Donald Trump is a clown. And to think that this guy is the one on TV telling people what to do. And then I saw today that he appointed Marsha Blackburn to get an economy rolling again. Like, what? This is like playing Russian roulette with a loaded gun. Like, all just put bullets in every chamber.
People I would choose to work on the economy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they have to know this. Why couldn't they just bring someone out? And I'll tell you what else is the biggest joke in the world. And like, he these stimulus checks. The guy says, I want my name on the checks.
mm-hmm.
Whatever you do, I want my name on the checks. How can you get away with that?
It's narcissism at its peak. There's no other way to define what it is. He wants people that get the checks. Who's getting the checks, number one? I mean, mine went straight in my bank. But anyway, he wants the people that get the checks to look at that check and go, thank you, great Donald, for saving my life. Here's where I'm at with this shit, man. I can't even deal with Trump supporters right now. I'm so angry all the time now. I sit in my house all day, and I think about the neighbors I've got across the street. Dude, there's like 8 people congregating right now as we're recording this, playing basketball, tennis, ping pong. Basketball seems like one of the worst sports you could play right now with people that do not live in your house, okay? That basketball is literally touching everyone's hands the entire game.
I would agree.
And I'm just sitting here and I get angry and angry and angry. I'm just, I got to walk. I got to let this go. Like, these people, there is a world we live in now in this country where there is literally 2 groups of people. I do not want to be in this group of people I'm in anymore, but I can't do anything about it. I am sick of it, dude. It makes me upset that these people do not care. They care about money. And trust me, like I said, if I wasn't working, maybe my views would be a little bit more different. I don't know, but this stuff about, who cares? This is, people are going to die. People are going to die. It's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. I mean, I could keep going on for hours. I just think that, and I think both sides are approaching it as we need to win with our point of view only. Whereas really the point is we both need to figure out the best way to operate and live in this world together. But it's past that now. It's that my side's got to win. My side's got to win, and that's it. Who
craziness.
cares?
Yes,
not everyone in this world can be evil. Like every Trump supporter isn't evil. Every Biden supporter, they're not evil. They think they're doing the right thing. A lot of them are just uneducated fools on the right, a lot, and maybe on the left, but more on the right. And they think they know, but they don't. And that's the most dangerous person in the world is an idiot who doesn't know he's an idiot. I've just been thinking about that all day.
I mean, it's true. It's sad. So what are your thoughts also on like the United States Postal Service as they're rolling out these bailouts for these corporate entities and businesses? Donald Trump has gone on record saying, I'm not going to sign anything if it has the United States Postal Service name on it. Like, what is up with that? Why is he hating on the Postal Service so bad?
Because he hates everything that's not him. He wants everything to be privatized. I'm looking from the chat. Robin, John's wife, says, we have neighbors that keep having their family and friends over for large family gatherings. John, is this true?
Yeah.
I mean, you just said the same thing, David. So I think it's fair to say that most Americans are not taking this very seriously, right?
You could look at this. It parallels religious beliefs. If you think about it, I mean, you've got people like Lee, who is very strict on how he's portraying himself in this time. He's not letting anyone in. He barely goes outside at all. This is true, right, Lee?
I mean, that was true before the epidemic, but yes.
Anyway, but there are people that are making themselves very strict about where they go and stuff, following guidelines to a T. And some people are even going a little extra and they're having everything delivered to their house. They will not leave their home. And then you got other people who are still going on vacation. and they're just throwing caution to the wind, and it could be paralleled with a religious aspect of people who are really strict to the letter of the law when it comes to religion, and then you have people who don't follow religion at all and will just do whatever they want. And it's I just think it's a unique parallel to that, where there's a weight of risk versus a lifestyle changes where some people would weigh it on freedom.
Well, let's be honest.
Well,
It's just selfishness. Because it's like we're not necessarily quarantining for ourselves. I mean,
That's very true.
The
It's
most,
not
the
just
vast
themselves, it's also
majority,
other people.
yeah, the vast majority of people that catch the virus, they're not going to die. They're going to recover. This is a known fact.
right.
However, I mean, you know, the danger is overloading hospitals, which causes even more of the cases where people could have survived with proper medical care. It's not available. So they die simply because we didn't have the necessary supplies. So really, when you go on vacation, when you have these large family gatherings, what you're saying is, I am more important than anyone else in the world. And my needs are more important than the greater good. And it's a long running debate between people who claim to be Republican or Democrat, conservative, liberal, whatever you want to say. But it's basically this mindset of, I want to own a gun, so therefore, no matter what, I should have to have a gun. Even if it benefits society that I don't have a gun, I'm not going to do it. You can say the same thing about abortions. I don't want those kids murdered, so no matter what, whether it's better for society or not, I'm always going to stick to that. So, I mean, and if you ask people, some people say, yes, that's how you have to exist in this world. It's Darwinism, it's evolution, it's survival of the fittest. And then there's another attitude. It's like, we're all in this together and we need to do the greater good. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's how I see it.
I mean, I guess if you look at it on a cosmic scale, why does anything matter at all? I mean, to go to John, if you're not a religious person, why would you? I mean, really, the question I always ask people: why do you care about anything? If you know you're a speck of dust in a cosmic world and you're going to disappear one day, you're right. Why do you care? And I guess it's because we care about other people. We have an emotional connection to people. You know, that's what most people are living their lives for: your family, your friends, your loved ones, da 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 da. And if you don't care enough about your grandmother who's in a nursing home, or your friend's grandmother that's in a nursing home, or your friend that just had open heart surgery, or your friend that has cancer, or someone you know, I mean, if you don't care enough to stay at home, then you're just a piece of shit. And I guess these people are okay with that. I need one of them to tell me, like Clay Travis is, I mean, this guy every day, you know who he is. He's a radio guy. He's from Nashville. He went to Vanderbilt. Every day, just going out there going, who cares? Just open the economy up right now. More people die. The things everybody says, more people die of this, more people die of the flu, more people die of car crashes. Are you going to ban cars? It's all the straw man arguments anyone can make. They don't understand what they're talking about. And I keep coming back to these people on the right, and I'm saying it, they don't care. They don't care. And I want them to just say they don't care. Just tell me you don't care about other people, and I now know where you stand. But we need to call it like it is. We need to stop this stuff of, oh, it's not, it is very political at this point where it is now. It's this side thinks this way, this side. Look at the states. You can break it down on each state, whether it's run by a Republican or Democrat, straight up.
I think it also mirrors what Bree Smith talked about when she was talking about how people react to storms and how there's different levels. And again, to mention, like, you've got people that once there's a mention of the storm, they go to their safe space and they start protecting themselves immediately. And then you got other people on the end of the spectrum that don't get into a safe space until they see the storm with their own eyes and it's coming at their house full speed. And so if you got these people that are going on vacation and stuff, when their best friend that's sitting next to them has the coronavirus, that's when it's going to hit them. And guess what? It's too late.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, that's a very, you're right. These are people that want the tornado to hit their house. But like I say, I mean, we do. I mean, yes, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
Can
But I
I?
think,
Go ahead.
and the part of Trump, I wish Trump was a good guy where I could look at his plan and go, all right, man, here we go. We want to reopen the economy. Yes, we do want to do that because people are, they're losing. I mean, they're going to lose everything when this stuff comes back. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, yeah, you may not have to pay rent for a month or 2 months, but you're going to have to pay the piper when it comes back around. If you're furloughed, like, I mean, speaking of it to Mandy on the quarantine, Logan's is done. Like, if you worked at Logan's Roadhouse, you no longer have a job. You don't have anything. Okay, you're done.
I mean,
And
there will
so,
be another Great American Steakhouse that opens to fill that void.
yeah, but everybody at Logan's now, every employee is going to try to go back to the steakhouse. Now, do you think they're going to be able to hire every employee that comes in like that? Lee, this is how recession works.
I mean,
brother.
I've been a proponent of universal basic income since I first heard about the idea. This social safety net is necessary for a world with these emerging problems. I mean, we knew this was a possibility. We knew this could happen. A basic universal income would stop all this baloney. I mean, you can't forever stop the economy, but it would definitely put the stopgap in for people that fell on hard times. But nobody wants to listen to that because there's too much corporate greed and corruption at the top, and that's where they choose to funnel the money. So it's the same old debate.
Go for that. Someone who's on this podcast is not going to go for that, Lee.
But
okay?
but why is it ignorance? I mean, why?
It's you're talking about using foresight to fix a problem. If everybody had foresight and everybody followed the letter of every law, then we wouldn't even need that.
I'm just saying, I don't know what you're talking about foresight. I'm talking about universal basic income, where as a member of society.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying that now that'd be a great idea.
John,
But
I was saying it 2 years ago.
Look at the programs that FDR created during the Great Depression that saved this country. The New Deal. We needed those programs then, but not even 10 years later, those programs that he created became a drain on society and the economy.
I don't know,
and it
John.
became a problem.
I think a
lot of those programs are still in effect today that we've just not.
Mark my word, John. UBI is coming. It's just a natural progression of society as a whole. If you don't have universal basic income, you're basically saying that there's two classes of citizen. And if you're not a first class citizen, then you can just go die in a ditch. And this could happen to anyone. Anyone could have an accident. Anyone could find themselves furloughed for something that's not their fault. And then basically you're going to be told, well, you're not worth living, so go die in a ditch somewhere. So it's very important that a society...
Explain what this is you're speaking of.
I mean, it's just a guarantee that you are... I mean, there's a lot of different methods for UBI. There's a lot of people that have spent a lot of time. People that are smarter than me have put together books, reports, essays, studies, data analytics. If you are really interested in UBI, you can go do it. But it basically guarantees you that as a citizen that you are given a set amount of money on basically a monthly basis or whatever. The frequency can change. But you're just guaranteed to have a set number of amenities given to you. And, it doesn't have to be money. It can be food. It can be clothes. It's basically welfare, but it just guarantees that amount of money for everyone.
So, and Rusty brings it up, and I was going to mention it. Andrew Yang was running it on his platform, the $1,000 a month for every American, like guaranteed $1,000 a month. So, John, what is your main problems with that, with people getting a set amount of income for their family to live on?
In an imperfect society where there's no corruption, where there is corruption, any program like that will create a polarizing effect on our economy. You're going to either have ultra rich and ultra poor, nothing in the middle. Now, if we had a perfect society where there was no corruption, then a UBI would be amazing. It would be great. And I'd be all for it as well. But that's not the case.
So because we live in a
he says it's creating the thing you say it's going to fix. So who's wrong?
I mean, John's defense is we live in a corrupt world, so we can't have UBI. I just don't see how that's logical. I mean, I just don't see that an argument for or against that. I don't know what he's talking about. It's nonsense. Are you just saying that people are going to abuse it?
Oh yes, definitely.
So you don't think people are abusing corporate taxes and corporate greed right now? You don't think like the healthcare industry was pumping out millions of dollars of opiate sales to people that weren't legitimately described it for years, and like that's not corrupt? So should we get rid of painkillers, prescription painkillers altogether? Should we get rid of healthcare altogether because we live in a corrupt society? Should we get rid of highways, policemen? That just anarchy is the only situation.
Well,
that
number
works?
one, you're talking to a guy that is a teetotaler. I mean, he doesn't drink or do drugs, so he might not be too opposed to that. But anyway, John, any quick thoughts on that?
I'm just saying that to have a blanket switch as a conservative, I believe that if you want to fix things, you need to fix things in small increments to see what works and adjust as you travel. A big switch using a UBI for those who aren't making a certain amount, there's going to be no motivation for them to really work hard, and they're just going to drop off that spectrum if they're not going to get above that $1,000 or $2,000 a month that you're going to stipend off to them.
I mean, there's a lot of stipulations. There's a lot of
big
stipulations on it. There's a lot of talk on it. I mean, that seems to be a prevailing argument is, oh, it'll just make people lazy. Whether it will or not, I don't necessarily think it will, but there's no way of knowing. And I think incremental, like you said, is the correct way. You can't have large sweeping changes. Of course, you would have to introduce it. But I think at the end of the day, the point is that we don't have a choice to be born into a society. There's not an option to go homestead somewhere. There's not an option to go live off the land in a modern day society. We're born into this social structure. So since it is a constant and it's there, we're not going to escape for it. There has to be a safety net that we as the society build to support ourselves. And it's just not happening. You have these people who still have this selfish attitude about pull up your bootstraps, do everything yourself. If you have bad luck, that's on you. Go pray to God about it. We can't have that. Society is not that. So we have to be progressive in our views of how we prop up society going forward. And if this epidemic hasn't shown us those flaws, then I don't know if anything short of like nuclear war would allow us to see that.
So from the chat, Lee, Robin says, if I'm making the same amount as a fast food employee, then why try anything?
I mean, hey, that's an argument. Are you really going to quit your job? I mean, are you really going to go live off this $1,000? Are you really going to want to live on a minimum wage? If you have the skills to make more money and do better for yourself, you're going to do it. It's a social net for people who can't work, don't want to work, are have fallen on hard times and can't. Like to say I'm making the same amount as fast food, go work in the fast food then. Like, I mean, I don't understand the argument. Do you have the skills to work? Are you not going to work?
Well, here's my big point. Who cares? Why do you care? Why do you care what the person in the house next to you makes? Like, why do people care so much? Like, I've been thinking about this a lot. Why? Why do you care? Like, is it a competition? Oh, I make as much as a fast food person. Well, good for you, whether you do, whether you don't. I mean, I'm coming around, Lee. Like, this is showing the system does not work. It doesn't work. Dude.
Here's the other thing.
Could you be out of work for a month and you're in deep, dire problems? Something needs to be fixed because it's not working anymore. Like, why do we care so much about winning and being right? And I got to make more than this person because I sit in an office and I type all day, so I should be making $50,000 a year. But the guy making McDonald's, why I should be able to determine what he makes. Like, who cares?
And here's the crazy thing.
Here's where people care is because when you're working full time at McDonald's, you cannot support yourself in a home where you live
what if you
by
could,
yourself.
John? What if you could, John?
Then that's the difference. But guess what? That's not going to happen.
Well, let me jump in here. And this is what's the most insulting of all this is that these people are told, these like retail grocery workers are told that they're essential. You are an essential servant to society and you cannot quit, but they get paid nothing. And yet these non-essential people are actually getting paid more. So when I hear the word essential, that obviously means something else to these people in charge. They must be thinking like essential oils or something. because the system, if you are an essential enough employee where you're forced to expose yourself to a virus during an epidemic, I think we need to pay you as if you're essential, at least to John's point, a living wage. I think any job in this country you should be able to survive and support a family on it, right?
I agree, and I think you made a very good point, which I was thinking of. It's funny how the McDonald's employee is still there. He's still there working, still there being exposed every day. That dude gets the virus, he's probably screwed. Let's just be honest. He's out of work for 2 weeks. Probably fire him. I mean, well, they can't. Well, no, I guess McDonald's can because they've got enough employees where they can let him go. That's a little loophole in the law they passed. But anyway, I'm just like,
Wow.
I'm sick of that argument from the right of, well, if they start making $20 an hour, I'll go. Have you worked at McDonald's, dude? Do you think it's an easy job? You think those people like they love working at McDonald's? That is a tough job. You're sweating your butt off all day, dealing with the worst people of society coming through the drive-thru because they're all assholes. Let's just be honest, because they think they own you because they ordered a damn $5 Happy Meal. Get out of my face. That is a hard job, and trust me, if you ask me right now, I'm going to make the same amount of money, my job, or go working at McDonald's. I'd pick my job every time. That is not an easy job. And do they probably deserve more money? They probably do. I know you could start factoring in, I went to college, I went to school, I got this, I got that. I understand all that, but enough with this stuff of, well, if they start making $20 an hour, I'm going to go on down. Then go on down. Go on down right now. You can be a manager right now, dude, making lots of money, and you'll hate your life every day, and then you end up quitting.
Let me just jump in here. It's the same argument that people use for illegal aliens that come to this. They're taking our jobs. And it's like, these people are some of the hardest working people, and they're actually doing jobs that nobody else either wants to do or does well. So you really can't complain about someone taking your job when A, you don't do the job very well, or B, you're not willing to work. So the whole argument on that, and we haven't even touched on healthcare as a public infrastructure issue, which I know you guys are strongly opposed to. That's also another huge issue.
I haven't said that.
And honestly, I think if we fix healthcare, it might alleviate some of the need for a UBI. But our current healthcare system is a complete joke, you know?
Well, yeah, you think
we've all agreed with you on that.
Yeah, we agree with you.
So
it's the method to get there.
I think what we need to be assured of is when this is all over, whatever that means, it could be 50 years from now, but we need to make sure that we remember this, and we need to make sure that this change happens in the world. And we have to be that change. We can't count on other people anymore. We have to go make the difference. We have to have these conversations with other people. And, you know, some people you can't convince. If you've arrived at a conclusion without logic, then you can't logically convince someone else otherwise. But there has to be a way in which we can educate and explain and make this change happen. I don't know what that is. If anyone knows, send me an email, bybpod@gmail.com, and we'll have you on the show even. If you're strong enough, you know, if you can use logic to help us out on that one.
There we go. Well, speaking of illogical conclusions, do we have a Dear John for this week?
We do.
Let's go.
Dear John, Dear John, by the time you read these lines, I'll be gone.
All right, so Lee's got a question somebody sent in, and John is going to attempt to answer it. Here we go.
This one comes in. Dear John, I have been married for 45 years. My husband and I get along fine. We have our little quirks, but after all these years, we are used to each other. There is just one thing that really bugs me about him. When repairs needed to be done outside the house, we have it done. New roof, new siding, driveway paved, even solar panels. We have also done some work inside, such as remodeling the kitchen and bathrooms. 12 years after moving into our home, I finally insisted that it be repainted on the inside. My husband griped about it nonstop. I told him he didn't have to do any of the painting. We would hire someone to do the job. He did have to help move the furniture, however. Well, now it's time to replace the carpet. It's original. It's 30 years old. It's stained, worn out. Again, he's griping and complaining. It drives a wedge between us. Money isn't the issue. He says I'm always bothering him with one thing after another. Is it asking too much to have these things done inside my home after so many years? From the nagging wife.
If the worst thing he's doing is complaining about it, let him complain. That's not the worst thing in the world. It's eventually getting done. Let them complain. Let them bemoan a little bit, and it'll get done. He's proven that time and time again. Your words. You've had all these projects. They eventually get done. Let him, what's wrong with him complaining a little bit? Let him have his little day. Let him have a soapbox, and you know you get to have your thing, your new carpets, your paint job, your solar panels, your roof done, your driveway. It all gets done. What's so bad about him complaining about it?
I'm sorry, Lee. Did you
Let it
say
go.
these people were married for how long again?
45
I
years.
must have missed that.
45 years.
45 years. Hey, it's time to pack up the house, baby, get the RV and get moving because you got to at least be 65 years old. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's cool. You want new walls, but shouldn't you be out like enjoying your life? I mean, going on trips around the world. I mean, if I was going to pick new walls in a house and I'm 65 up at least, or I can go out. Well, I guess you can't go anywhere right now. So it kind of sucked for Can you imagine you spend your whole life, you're like, hey, when we get to retirement, we're gonna go on these trips, we're gonna do all this fun stuff. Boom, 2020 hits, you're like, man. Anyway, I don't know. I think both of you could focus your energy on better
Well, I mean,
things.
think about it
myself.
another way, David. Think about it if basically read between the lines. What she's saying is anything that her husband thinks is important and a priority. Anything that she thinks is important and that he doesn't, because he doesn't care about the colors of wall, but some people that's very important, it gets dismissed. So could you imagine living with someone for 45 years that dismissed everything that you thought was important but prioritized everything that they thought was important? And how
Doesn't
do you
every
deal
married
with that
person
situation?
feel that way?
But some are probably worse than others, right?
I mean, in any marriage, yeah, you're right. One person wants one thing as a priority. The other, that's it. That's the whole concept of a marriage. I mean, yeah, dude, obviously what my wife values in aesthetics, I don't, and vice versa. She could care less about what kind of microphone I want, right?
But
If she's
how do you compromise with that? When your wife comes to you about the aesthetics, what's your reaction?
I quote the great entrepreneur LeVar Ball when he said, "Stay in your lane." Okay, and you stay in your lane. If she wants the walls to be pink and purple, paint them pink and purple. I don't care. Let me have my business. You take care of your business, and that's how you maintain a healthy marriage. So, John, you may have nailed it. Let them gripe about it. As long as you get your way, who really
It
cares?
gets done. It gets done. So yeah, let him cry.
But that's women, and hit the misogyny alert. But
Oh,
Oh
I didn't say that.
I said
no!
it. I don't care.
Oh no!
Misogyny alert. Misogyny alert. Misogyny alert.
It's them women.
But it's true. It's true. They see the world different than men do. Okay, and I think we can't walk away from that fact, John. It's true. We see the things differently. We approach problems differently. For the majority, not every single one, but the majority of men and women operate logically and the way they see things differently. And for a woman, you're right. The color of the wall probably is important. To most men, probably don't care. Truthfully, I mean, true. I'm just I'm sure there are dudes that do, but I'm saying for the majority of it. Anyways, John, closing thoughts on it.
Yeah, you're the end game. You got to look at the end, the end prize. You got your prize. You have to walk through a little bit of crap to get to it. Then hey, it was worth it.
Can I
If
throw
it was
another
worth it.
idea out
Go
there?
ahead.
They're probably
ahead.
they've been married 45 years. They're probably a little older. Just fake hearing loss. Or if you already have hearing aids, just act like they're not working and then just keep saying it to him. Everything he gripes, just be like, can't hear you. Having hearing loss.
There we go. I'm just gonna say this. Hit the sounder, Lee. End it. That's Dear John. If you want to hit a Dear John, hit us up, bybpod@gmail.com, or hit us up with a DM, which somebody just did. So we got a whopper for next week. That's all I'm going to say. Someone sent us one while we were recording that. So that'd be a good one. But anyway, do that if you want John and us to help you out. So I guess we've come up to the end of the program. I mean, not the funniest one we've ever done, but these are serious times sometimes. Sometimes we need to voice our frustrations. I mean, what else do we have to do? So we'll come up with something for next week, maybe a creative outlet for us to. We never did do the Mount Rushmore women, but that's gone. So we'll have to think of another thing to do. But Lee, what are your final thoughts for this episode?
Just, I feel like this is a very important 2 weeks coming up. Let's continue to flatten this curve. Let's continue to help out everyone we see, come together, and let's, approach this as the true problem it is. Together, we can conquer anything.
There we go. John, what about you?
Be respectful. Don't be selfish. For once, please, America, put other people's needs first.
Oh. Here's what I'm going to say. Carole Baskin is not the bad guy everyone wants her to be. Republicans are still the enemy. Don't let anybody fool you. They are. And to quote LeVar Ball, stay in your lane and stay away from people in these times. Those are my 3 points. So all that being said, you need to go to our website, blameyourbro.com. That's where you get all of our great content, past episodes, articles by Adam Cox, who just did an article about Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. So go check that out. Go watch it because you got plenty of time to watch things. And go buy those T-shirts. Go buy those leggings. Come on. You need the leggings right now. If you ever needed leggings and hooded sweatshirts, now is the freaking time. It's time to stand up, get those items you need, get it at the website, hit all of our social media up. All the links are there. We're out there interacting with you people. Go support other podcasts in this time. Go support your friends, your artists, musicians. Go get, if your friend's selling an album, it's his greatest Trapper Haskins, Blood and the Honey. Go buy the freaking album. Artists right now need your help more so than ever because they are in trouble. So if you got a few extra dollars, go on a live stream, tip the person, do it. I've seen some great performances this week. It's been fantastic. So, but go to our website, help us out as you can. And I guess with all that being said, Lee, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
Welcome to Memory of the Week. Today is Thursday, April 16th, the 107th day of 2020. 59 days of the week. On April 16th, 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King wrote his letter of Birmingham, in which the civil rights activists responded to a group of local clergymen who had criticized him
I'm Donald
for
Trump, and I
leading
approve this
street
message.
protests. King defended his tactics, writing, quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere," unquote. That is today's Memory of the Week. David John Lee.